I'm definitely going to be getting rid of a couple of monster trucks. And I'm going truggy, bro. Fuck the other stuff, man. I'm going truggy. I'm going sealed motor. Backplate motors. I'm done. No more pull start bullshit. No more roto start shit. Fuck all this right here. This is all a waste of time, guys. Fuck all this crap. This is shit. That thing is no headaches at all. It's great. The performance, you can't compete it to any freaking monster truck at all. It's really good. Really great. Stay tuned, man. Stay tuned for, I got some videos coming up. But, it's mixed in. You're gonna see like an look at this. Let's look at this motor here. See, look at this bearing here. It's beautiful. No leaks. Always inspect your shit. All right, if you guys see oil or fuel leaking from this bearing here, your crank bearing, that means you have a leak on your motor. Your motor's leaking. All right. So very good. This motor's still great shape. So look, you guys remember this from the build? For you guys that want your back plate for the ZR30X, number 38555. Right, here's the one-way bearing that was never used on that modded 32. Never. Here it is. This is the pull start, and this is heavy right here. This is heavy. All right, that motor would lose so much power alone. Just never mind that it's modded. Forget about modded. All right, pretend it's stock. Even the stock has good power, but look at this heavy shit. That motor would have to be spinning this crap. All right, right off the bat, you're losing RPMs like crazy. That's extra friction, heat, wear and tear. Look at this chunk of metal you have to carry around. That's removed. And not only that, you see that O-ring there? That seal? The back plate has a better seal, so you're more airtight. This is why I constantly talk about this, man. Alright, here's the stock piece of shit carburetor at the time with these Spec 2s. The new Spec 4 is improved. Is way better carburetor. Still, I recommend you guys.
So you thought, huh?
Getting yourselves these 2-needle carburetors from Novorossi Direct. Alright? You can use the carburetors that come off the stock 28.8. Alright, or make sure it's a 2-needle one and get yourself a 9mm Venturi. Alright, or you can drill it out.
Highly recommended.
If you run an Novorossi carburetor, if you guys run a Novorossi carburetor on an LRP, you must use 2 O-rings. Alright, because the carburetor is taller.
Or shim it.
Alright. The LRP carburetor is shorter. It's shorter.
It's a piece of shit.
Right here? Okay, pretend this is a Novorossi carburetor. You would need 2 of these.
Anyway, the reason that I was showing you guys that, by the way, what's up, Nitro Nation, is because I get people that ask me a lot. They say, hey, Muggy, what do you think about, monster trucks and Savages and so forth? Well, let me first say, before I tell you why I don't own one, is Savages are kind of, I don't know, I used to think they were kind of I still think they're kind of an iconic, part of Nitro. Kind of like the Muggy. The only problem is, with the Savages, you can't run a sealed motor on it. You gotta run, because of the chassis, you have to run a pull start or a roto start. And as soon as I found that out, I was like, okay, I guess I'm not getting a Savage. Because I almost got one. Seriously, And I was told that, hey, a real Nitro guy, has, or somebody that's really into Nitro, has a Savage in their collection. Okay? I mean, as you've seen, Mr. Za himself, he had a few Savages in his collection. But you also see in that video that was when Mr. Za finally realized that, you know what? Fuck monster trucks. Fuck savages. Fuck all, excuse my language, fuck all those headache bullshits. That was the defining moment in his illustrious nitro career. Okay? When he finally, the light went on, so to speak. You know, the heavens, the nitro heavens opened up. Oh! And John realized that, why am I fucking with savages and pull starts and roto starts and easy and all that bullshit? It's all fucking headaches. And he realized that. I'm not just picking on savages or saying, okay, if you own a savage, then, hey, it is what it is. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Like I've said before, if the shoe fits, wear that shit. To me, savages, monster trucks, that's all fucking rookie shit. That's for rookies and fucking kids. If you want to get to what Mr. Za calls the next level, well, he didn't get to the next level fucking with savages and monster trucks. Okay? And I've even talked to him back before, messaged him, this was a while back, about, you know, the savages. And even the Losi, the LSTs. That's all pull start bullshit. Roto start bullshit. Okay? And then I also showed you the video where he's talking about the LRP. You know, I mean, you heard him right there saying all that fucking weight and that fucking, the mechanisms that's on the back of a pull start or a roto start that's fucking robbing your motor of 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs. You can look at, go back into plenty of his videos where he talks about that too. So, what my whole point is I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I have a few people that ask me, you know, hey, what do you think about getting, you know, certain motors modded? Well, I will never, ever, ever condone or suggest for anybody to get a motor modified where it's going to have a backplate and a rotostart. That, to me, is a waste of fucking money and a waste of time. So I will never do that. I will never ever mod any motor that has a rotostart or pull start on it. That's a waste of fucking money. Just run it the way it is. You know, experience it that way. When you're ready for that LRP .32 or that Novarossi 28.8 or whatever, okay, to have a sealed back on it, then I will suggest, or I will, you know, I will help you out as far as how I would go about modding it or who I would send it to get modded to and kind of the things you need to know about modded motors. But other than that, if you're somebody that wants to get a motor modded and it has a pull start and a roto start, don't come to me for anything, because I'm not going to even suggest or even condone that. To me, that's bastardizing a motor. I would never do that to any decent motor. Never. Never, ever, ever in a million years will I ever suggest anybody modify anything that has a rotostart or a pull start on it. Waste of money. Don't even waste your money. Because you're not even going to experience what that motor really would be like with pull start and rotostarts on it. Even if it's modded. That motor is still, you know, being robbed of, like I said, 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs. So anyway, that's that. So so guys that, you know, have the if you want to get to the next level, then fucking get rid of your savages, get rid of your monster trucks, go straight truggies and buggies. That's next level shit. And that's not me saying that. Ask Mr. Za, he'll tell you that himself. He's not going to tell you that monster trucks and savages and LSTs are next level. He's going to tell you that's rookie shit. And hey, it's not a bad thing. It is nitro. You know, if that's something that's new, if you're new to it and you're a newbie and you're learning, those are great to learn on. But in order for you to get to the next level, okay, of modified motors and quality platforms, you're not going to be fucking with LSTs, monster trucks, MGTs, Savages, you know, all that bullshit. That's all rookie and newbie shit. If you want to get to the next level, get yourself a quality, buggy, truggy, sealed back motor on it, okay? And once you're ready for it, get it modded with a sealed back on it. Until then, well, you'll learn. Like I always say, if you want to learn the hard way, be my guest. But anyway, that's that. So we ran the Mugen MBX. By the way, welcome all newbies, middies, oldies, but goodies. Muggy Maniacs. There's the Muggy. I know my video. Did I say in my video, I don't know if you guys caught that, I was referring to the buggy as a Muggy. I get that, my words confused sometimes with that. Calling my buggy a Muggy or calling my Muggy a buggy. I mean my Muggy here, you know, calling it a buggy. But anyway, Muggy's all fresh and clean, and the diffs are all fine. I don't need to change the diff oil anytime soon. What was that from? Got something on there. Oh, I see. Look like a little bit of alcohol. I put alcohol when I'm done cleaning my tank. When I'm done running my shit. Again, we're gonna talk a little bit on this video about upkeep. Okay, we're gonna get into. I'm gonna show you how I pull apart. This is the Reds .21 R5 modded. This is the modded .21. Okay, sealed back plate. By the way, you want to see a badass sealed back plate? Now, you guys might have seen back plates and stuff, but if you've never seen a Reds, if you've never seen Reds internals, I'm going to show you the quality of these things. These are actually, and I always, you know, will tell you that Novarasis are one of the best quality motors out there. But let me tell you, Reds, if you pull them apart and you look at the internals of Reds, man, these are even another level above Novarasi. I mean, look at the back plate. Can you guys see that? One of the sickest back plates. They call them, it's called a diamond back plate. Okay? I mean, look at that. This ain't just no freaking regular back plate. I mean, this thing is engineered. The machining that they put into these Reds. And by the way, remember, these are Pico based blocks. These blocks are made by Pico. Now, obviously, the internals and everything else is Reds, but the block itself, the base of this motor, is a Pico. So, that's a fact. Anyway, I was going to say, I clean, when I take my tank out after I'm done running, I always take my tank out, clean out my lines, clean it out, and what I do is I put rubbing alcohol. You can hear that inside, and I kind of let it set in there, and that kind of keeps a lot of the moisture from forming from any of the residue from the old nitro fuel. And then what I'll do is I'll put air on the end of these the fuel lines, and I'll clean it out, and I'll blow the alcohol through all the lines and the coolers and the filter and all that stuff. So that's what I do personally. You do what you want, but that's how I keep my tank. Always when I'm done running, the first thing I do is I pull the motor. I've cleaned, the first things that I clean right off the bat are the tires, rims and tires, and I've already cleaned them, as you can see. They're over here. I cleaned the body. The body's right there. I've got what, 3 bodies. I'm getting another one of these, and the reason that I get these bodies is these. If you have a Mugen MBX 5, 6, 7, whatever, these are Proline. If you need a part number, let me know. Proline. These bodies are Proline Phantom. Okay, that's what they're called. For the MBX 7 buggy. Now, you can fit them on a 5 and a 6. You just got to do some altering. You can pretty much fit any of these on any Mugen buggy. You just got to, you know, obviously alter them and trim them to where they fit. Mine has a bigger opening because this tank, and this is another thing for anybody that has older Mugen buggies, this is a Mugen MBX-7T tank. This is the same tank that is in my Truggy, my MBX-7. My MBX-7 Truggy, some of the stuff that I got extra fit on my MBX-5. This tank, I had to do a little bit of altering to actually get it to mount in here. But instead of having a little puny 125 cc tank, this is 150 cc, which obviously is bigger. And I was able to fit it on the buggy. The only thing I had to do is I had to cut a little bit of a different opening in the body. Oop. But anyway, like I was going to say, these bodies, these Proline bodies for the Mugen, you can get them. They're only, they're like, I see them on eBay all the time. That's how I'm going to get another one. Like 20, 25 bucks, something like that. So they're ridiculously cheap. That's why I continue to get them. Because usually you're paying around $40 to $50, depending on a buggy or Truggy body. So I seen another one. It was like $22 shipping and handling for that body. Okay, they're already pre-cut. Like I said, you just got to do a little bit more altering to fit it on. You know, whether you have an MBX-5 or a 6, they're made for the 7. But I like the design of it, and that's why I got 3 of them, and I'm going to buy another one and do another sick-ass paint job on it. But anyway, the other thing that I was able to put on the Mugen buggy is this, the radio tray. Before, the steering servo was turned on its side. This is the carbon fiber complete radio tray. I have a couple extra of these from the MBX-7 Truggy. It was able, again, I didn't have to do too much altering, but it pretty much fit right in this buggy. So, you know, this buggy has a few modern day, I should say, upgrades. But other than that, that's pretty much, this is the way it comes. And I'll kind of run over this. Some people, you guys have seen it plenty of time, but some people don't know anything. And this is a great, man, I recommend this. And there's plenty of these. I see them on eBay all the time. MBX-5Rs. This is a Prospect, which comes with all the upgrades. All the carbon fiber, the titanium, the aluminum, everything. I mean, there's nothing that I had to do to this thing as far as upgrades. It was already, I mean, bulletproof as it is. The only other thing I think I'm going to do to upgrade it is put these shocks are okay, but I'm going to try to hunt down some newer Mugen shocks so I don't have these spacers in here. You know, the new Mugen shocks are bigger, beefier, and they have the threads. But anyway, so to get back to what we were talking about, okay, this is a little bit, you know, oh, by the way, you know, the Muggy Maniac gets a little sidetracked. Welcome all of the newbies, and I know I have a lot of new subscribers out there, and you know, I try to address every question that I get. I get a lot of different questions from a lot of different people, and I try to address the questions as soon as I can. I got one guy, I forgot his name, but he was asking me about fuel, you know, and you guys have seen so many videos on fuel and stuff like that, but, oh, also, by the way, this is the carburetor that you need to run on your LRP .32s if you want it to tune right. Because that other carburetor, the X-Tech, and you heard John say the new car, because that was an older video, he was, you know, and little did he know that even when they came out with the new LRP .32s, that the carburetors on them still suck ass. So I don't recommend running them. Pull them off. You can either run, this carburetor will run perfect on there. Just, you need to either put 2 of these little spacers, these little rubber deals, or see the silver part on here, shave it all the way down to the black. And then it'll fit right on the LRP .32s. And this is the best, period, no questions, the best carburetor out there. Okay, the Novorossi, infamous, famous Novorossi carburetor. I forgot the part number on this, but anyway, this is going on my LRP 32. Like I said, until I get find a new crank for the Novorossi 28.8 Rex Legend, that the piece broke off that you guys seen, I'm not going to be running the Muggy for a while. So the Muggy it's cleaned up. There's nothing wrong with it. I checked the diffs; they're fine. It's just going to be on hiatus and probably collecting a little dust for a while. And the same thing when I'm done cleaning this thing up here, the buggy, after I just got done running it, and I ran this thing. By the way, if you watch that video, even after I was done filming, I ran the shit out of this thing. I flipped this thing all over the place. It was getting busy. Like, man, the Mugen, this is a 14-year-old platform. They came out with these. Before I get into the Reds motor, I'm going to pull this apart in a second here. Let me explain something. Like I was, the Muggy Maniac. Sorry for me being so random, and I get all over the place sometimes. I just get excited, when I ever talk about nitro and when I'm explaining stuff and trying to educate people as far as what I've learned. Now, if you're a newbie or you're somebody that wants to experience, and I suggest getting a buggy. Yeah, truggies are great. I love my truggies. I'm a huge chuggy guy. Okay, but I like the buggies too, man. These things are so much fun. And I had a blast with this thing yesterday, as you guys seen on the video, man. This thing rips ass. Great. I would suggest learning on a buggy even before you get into a truggy. And they're a lot more affordable. Not a lot more, but they're cheaper. And like I was going to say, you can get an MBX5 kit like this. It might not be the same one. This is a Prospect. Similar to the MBX5R, except the Prospect, what it has is it came with all titanium. So you've got all titanium. These chassis braces are titanium. I had these were hard to find, but they weren't cheap. But I think they look cool, and more importantly, they're strong and they're very light. The shock towers that come on these things are thicker than any shock towers that I've ever seen, even thicker than my Technos, thicker than my Mugen Truggy. These things here are 5mm 7075 anodized aluminum. Crazy. So you want to talk about strong? These shock towers, and these things are not flexing. Now, some people will run the carbon fiber or graphite ones on them, but as far as for bashing, you want stiffness. You don't want anything flexing, especially when you're beating up your shit like I do. It also comes with all the carbon fiber, top brake plate, carbon fiber. This radio tray is obviously carbon fiber. The only thing that's not the thing that I want to upgrade on this, one, I'm going to change the chassis because the person that had this thing before kind of butchered the chassis. It has little cuts into it, and it's pretty beat up. I covered it with this carbon fiber wrap, by the way. It wasn't for this body, but I made it work and kind of covered up. But this body's just beat up. Now you can get a brand new. I can get a brand new chassis for this thing, $50. So I'm gonna change. I'm gonna get a brand new chassis for this vehicle, and the only other thing I'm gonna change is I'm gonna put newer Mugen shocks on them, because these are good shocks, but compared to the new Mugen shocks, which are like here on my MBX7, these are way better. So anyway, yeah, so you can find these for, man, cheap. I paid for this thing, a rolling chassis for this buggy. I paid like $130, I think, something ridiculous. And it was in great shape. Just real dirty. I had to tear it down and clean it up and so forth. But the normal that you do with anything you get out. I have yet to buy anything off eBay used, and I've got some stuff in pretty great condition. I mean, looking at the pictures and looking at it, and no rust, and then I've got it and taken it apart, and man, it was fucking filthy and dirty as hell. So, but you know how the Muggy Maniac is. I'm OCD when it comes to cleaning. So anyway, let's take a look at this sick-ass motor. See if I can get you guys here. Can you guys see? Can you guys see the Muggy wrenching on his shit? Can you guys see me? Okay. Anyway. Now, obviously before I even clean my motor, the one thing that I like to inspect too, especially after running pretty hard yesterday, is I inspect my clutch. I want to see if there's any abnormal wear. I've had springs come loose. I've had clutch shoes stick open. Now, also, this is part of your upkeep. I guess you can say, you know, because we've talked about modding. I mean, as far as modding, we talked about tuning. I mean, the tuning, man, it's not hard. Every motor is going to be different. Conditions are going to be different. There's so many variations of tuning. That's why, you know, there's different videos out there. You know, JT12, I suggest watch that guy. That little British guy or whatever he is, that little kid. Well, he's not a kid anymore. His videos when he was showing him, he was pretty young. But he knows his shit. I learned a lot of tuning from him. Now, one thing I always want to inspect is I inspect the clutch bell and the inside. Because sometimes, you know, you can feel it. And if you feel any kind of ridges, then you know your springs, the part of your springs are wearing through. Now these, like I said, these Dynamite, I run a 3-shoe clutch in my buggy. I run only 4-shoe clutches in my truggies. I've ran them 3 shoes, you know, in my truggies before. It's just because it's a bigger vehicle, more weight to push. You want to use a 4-shoe. I recommend it. I know Mr. Za will tell you. I don't even know sure what John runs in his buggy. But anyway, one thing that I use a lot that's really cheap that you can use for cleaning, and I keep in here, I use rubbing alcohol. You can go to the 99-cent store and get, you know, a thing of it for 99 cents. You can get a jug of it for cheap. I use it for cleaning a lot of shit. And it's not going to get some heavy-duty grease or shit out, but, I mean, and it doesn't leave any residue. It's not going to harm anything. I know there's some guys out there that use rubbing alcohol, and it's cheap, and it works. So I use it a lot. And I'll use it to clean up a lot of my shit. Now, I might have to use a little carburetor cleaner in my bearings. You know, I'll take my bearings out, and I'll check them. You know, sometimes you'll get the little shields, the outer shields on them. You'll get them falling off, and, you know, this bearing looks okay. This bearing is fine. You know, these are things that you want to upkeep, maintain, and check. I'm pulling this motor completely apart because I ran it pretty hard. It's coming up on pretty close to 2 gallons of fuel through it, so I usually will pull my motors apart usually every gallon. I mean, for me personally, that's my maintenance record as far as on my... Now, if you notice that you get any kind of buildup, sometimes you'll get aluminum shavings and whatever inside your clutch bell. Take a fine piece of fine piece of sandpaper, and I'll take it and I'll rub it on the inside of my clutch bell just to smooth it out like this, because you don't want it any roughness in there, because you don't want it tearing up your clutch shoes. And I'll just do that and smooth it out, and then again I'll get some rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip and I'll just kind of clean it out again. So anyway, now if you can see, my clutch shoes don't look too bad. I mean, normal wear, nothing abnormal. Springs are still intact, and I'll snap them and check. Now I noticed that if you noticed on the video yesterday, I don't know, I think these clutch shoes, these springs seem fine, but I don't know. I think one of them is kind of, this one here. This one here feels kind of too light. This feels pretty stiff. This feels pretty stiff. This one here, I think I'm going to replace. It's too light. I noticed after I was running it a while, it didn't want to. It didn't have that bottom end snap. So this is the only thing that I hate about 3-shoe clutches, is the fact that you got to take these damn springs off, unlike a 4-shoe where you don't have to deal with this bullshit. But it is what it is. And I use my little clutch puller deal. Losi, I've broken 3 or 4 of these, but again, Horizon always replaces them for me, so. And then you gotta pry. Where in the heck is my little flathead? Oh, there it is. Then you gotta pry these shoes off. I just kind of get it started, and then, but be careful, sometimes these springs will fly all over the place. And then they're a pain in the ass to, it's the only thing that I don't really care for on a 3-shoe. But once you get one off, then it's pretty easy. Okay. See, when you're dealing with the 4-shoe, you just undo the little pins, and you're done. You don't have to do all this bullshit. Pain in the ass. And one more, and then we can pull the clutch, the flywheel nut off. Come on, get out of there. Okay. So there's that. Clutch shoes, these are Max Life, like I said, Dynamite Max Life. They make 3-shoe and 4-shoe ones. These are obviously the 3-shoe. Wear on them's not too bad. So the next thing obviously I'm going to do is pull this clutch nut off. It came off too easy. And I put Loctite. You want to put Loctite on this main clutch nut because you don't want this thing coming loose. Now some people use a gear puller. I have one, but you don't really need to. You should be able to just tap on it like that, and it usually pops right off. Again, you know, part of upkeep is just inspecting, just to make sure your collet's still cool. This collet looks fine. There's no leakage or anything. I put after-run oil in it already, my muggy juice. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is, I don't think I really need to pull the carburetor off. Always clean your motors really, before you even do any of this, okay, make sure you clean your motors really well. I see guys cleaning or taking apart shit like this, or even pulling their motors apart, and it's still dirty. Like, you're asking for your motor to take a shit on you. You can get any dust. I clean my motors very thoroughly. I'll even take this simple green here with a toothbrush, scrub it really well, okay, the whole thing, and then take carburetor cleaner, spray it off real quick, and then silicone it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up the back plate here. Now remember, before you even pull your back plate off, make sure that your piston is up. as far as you can get it. Don't push it all the way up, because when you pull this back plate off, you don't want the crown or the part of the piston, you don't want that shit catching on your back plate, because you will, excuse my language, fuck up your piston. So before I pull this off, what I do is I make sure that my piston is up as far as I can get it. I don't want to push it up into the sleeve, obviously, but okay. I don't want it to catch when I pull my back plate out. Now what I usually check for when I pull this apart is just everything. The wear, normal wear on my piston. Make sure that my bearings are still, you know, smooth. I mean, make sure that I pick a cotton swab, and I'll show you guys. So let me pull this off, make sure my piston's up. Okay, it's out of the way. Now I'll pull this off. Now sometimes your plate will come right off. Okay. Sometimes you'll by taking the top part off too. Also, your head, you'll reduce some of the pressure, so the back plate comes off easier. And be careful when you're taking out all of these screws. That's why I don't use anything but MIP, because I do not want a chance stripping out any of these bolts. Because if you strip out any of these here on your motor, you're fucked. Okay? Because if you have to, I don't even see how you would drill any of these out in your head if you stripped them. I guess you could, but by doing that, you're going to be risking damaging your motor. So, again, protect your investment. You know, I invested, you know, even though this motor, I got it used, I still paid $150 for it or whatever. Plus I got it modded, that's another $100. So it's a $250 motor. Even if it's a $200 motor, that's an investment. You know, I don't got $200 just to piss away. You know, so that's why I take care of my shit. Some people don't. You know, people just run their shit into the ground, and, you know, hey, if you got money coming out your ass, then go for it. You know, I'm not Daddy Warbucks, so I want to take care of my shit. So, you guys have seen, I think have seen the Reds before plenty of times. But, you know, I make sure that I kind of clean it as I go, because I don't want to pull this button head off with any dirt. I don't want anything falling into it. And just remember, most button heads have this little marking. You guys can see that? See that little dot? That usually is facing, you want that dot is facing the back of the motor, telling you that that's the way the button head's supposed to go back on. Now, I mean, look at the button head on this thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, this thing is freaking huge. And when you're pulling the button head off, just kind of rock it back and forth, work it. Don't, you know, be careful. Don't just yank it. Ah, there you go. And there's one of my shims. I have 2 shims in here. So, and that we'll check the burn chamber, see what it looks like. Do a little inspection. Looks okay. Nothing abnormal that I could see. But hey, what do I know? What does the Muggy Maniac know, right? Okay, so now, can you guys see that? Let's take a look at this. Looks decent to me. It's got that goldish color you want. Looks fine to me. Plug this in pretty flush. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now let's take the change the view here. You guys can see me. let's make sure again. I don't want anything falling in my motor. I mean, this is a quality motor. I mean, when you look at these reds, man, when I first took one of these apart, I was like, man, this motor is pretty sick. So, like, again, push the piston up as much as you can before you pull the back plate off. This back plate sometimes is a little tight. Okay, come on. See if I can get this on. Okay, sometimes you might have to, there we go, give it a little little start. So then when you pull it off, just be careful, pull it off real slow. There you go. Now, there's what the inside of a quality Italian motor looks like. Looks good. Here's the back plate. Now, usually I don't, this is a rare filming, type of filming I do. I'm going to cut this video short in a minute. I just kind of want to show you guys what I do, and as far as upkeeping, maintaining, what I look for. But I usually don't do these videos because as you guys can see, I'm very tedious, very meticulous. I'm very detail orientated. That's just the way the Muggy is. I'm OCD about shit like this because, you know, hey, I spent a lot of time and a lot of money. I want to protect my shit. And when I run my shit really, really hard, like I ran the shit out of this thing. This bitch was screaming its lungs off. Even after I was done filming the video, I ran another hour at least. I mean, obviously I wasn't going to film all that, but I ran another hour. I ran probably about a half a gallon of fuel through this damn thing. And it just was screaming its lungs off. The buggy was getting busy. I mean, this thing, it was just getting it, okay? And when I run it like that, and I beat it up pretty good, even though, you know, it was just one bash session, I still will pull my shit apart and check it. Now, what you want to do, let me get a dry Q-tip. What I'll do, just to make sure everything's normal, I'll take a dry Q-tip like this, and you want to run it on the inside of your motor, pretty much where the inside where the crank is and everything. Run it around in there, kind of run it around, and what you're looking for, see that golden color? That's what you want. That means there's no dirt in there. My filter's doing its job. I'm not getting any shit in there, which is what I want. I don't want anything in there. See how I ran that? See how it's got that tannish color when I run it in there? Okay. Now, if you pull this Q-tip out and it's like black, that means you're getting dirt. That means your filter is not doing its job. That is when you might want to pull your shit out. Pull everything out. I mean, I'm looking at it and everything looks pretty good. I'm gonna pop the crank out and so forth. This video is already getting kind of long. I don't want to run it too long, but those are the things that I check for. You know, if you find that when you run a Q-tip in here in the back, like I just did, and it's dirty, pull everything out. Pull your sleeve out. Pull your crank out. Pull your the whole everything. And what I would do is I would clean it with carburetor cleaner, really good inside and out, and then air it out really good, and then re-oil all your bearings just to get the dirt out of there. But this thing is just like, this thing's money. I mean, I can just feel it just feels like money. This Reds is no joke. If you're gonna mess with any 21s, I suggest getting one of these and mod it. I don't even mess around. I mean, this thing was a badass even stock, but modded, it's a whole other animal. So anyway, that's pretty much it. That's just to show you the Muggy Maniac. You want to upkeep your shit, maintain your shit, but do what you want. You don't even have to get to this extremes. I just do this because when I run my motors really, 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 really hard and I beat the crap out of them, even though it was only for a day, one bash session, usually I won't tear stuff like this down every 3 times that I go run. But because I really ran it hard yesterday, because I just wanted to just get busy with this motor, this is of all my 3 modded motors, this one has the most fuel through it now. And this thing, it purrs like a kitten, idles like money, runs like, you know, the only thing that I can see adjustments, I'm still going to mess with the pipes, and I'm going to stiffen my clutch up a little bit, get a little bit more snap. But other than that, you know, and then this thing, this beast is probably gonna go right next to the Muggy over there and shelf it for a minute until I get the new chassis and until I get the new shocks, and I'll keep you updated on that. And why I got these two going into semi-retirement, not retirement, semi-retirement, we're going to focus on, it's time for me to get back to the Truggies. It's only been, what, a week, and I already miss them. So we're going to get the Pico ripping out there, ripping some ass. We're going to get the Mugen MBX7 Truggy over here, get this brand new sick-ass paint job that I did. And we're going to beat this thing up because I have a whole nother body right there that I'm going to paint, but not anytime soon. And I have an LRP .32 that I'm getting modded, and I have one stock, and I think I'm going to put the stock one in here. So this might be coming off the shelf sooner than you guys think. So, but I'll keep you guys posted. So, anyway, that's all the Muggy Maniac's got. I got to do some serious cleaning. You can see this puppy here is filthy. She's not going to get totally dissected, but she's going to get a good detail and get nice and clean before I shelf her for a minute. Anyway, that's all I got. So anyway, that's my take on the monster truck, the Savage. You guys want to get motors modded, you know, there's no hurry. If you've never ran an LRP .32 or a Novarossi 28.8 stock, run it stock. Break it in yourself. Learn how to do all this shit. The better you get at that, the better you're going to get at troubleshooting, which we're going to get into troubleshooting on the next few videos. I just kind of wanted to go over again on the, you know, maintenance and upkeep. You know, I'm OCD about my shit, and that's why my shit always, even though I run the hell out of it, at the end of the day, I mean, when I'm all said and done, you can eat off my shit. My shit is on point, clean, lean, mean, ready to rock and roll again. So we're going to get the Pico out there, and we're going to get this thing pulling the front end up of the front end of this Techno up in the air too. And we got some jumps coming, so hopefully that'll happen soon. I want to get these things flying in the air. So anyway, that's all I got. Again, shout outs to all my brothers, all my newbies, all you guys out there putting in the time, putting in the work. You know, but just don't be lazy, man. You know, clean your shit, maintain your shit. Learn how to pull apart your shit and inspect it. Learn what to look for. I'm not the only one that has these videos to show you how to do this. There's plenty of other people. But anyway, that's all I got. Muggy Maniacs out of here. Catch you guys on the next video, which more than likely will be some more brapping. Try to get you guys a lot of these running footages as much as I can, since there isn't anybody else doing any running videos worth anything. So, anyway, that's all I got, people. Peace.